Introduction. Lose yourself to truly live, the playful wisdom of Alan Watts. Have you ever felt like life is an endless pursuit to find yourself or your place in the grand scheme of things? Alan Watts, the captivating philosopher who brought Eastern wisdom to the West, offers a liberating paradox. What if the secret to truly living isn't in finding yourself, but in losing yourself? As Rumi once wrote, try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come? Imagine flying a kite on a breezy day. The more you tighten your grip and pull on the string, the more the kite resists, falters, and fights the wind. But the moment you loosen your hold, it takes flight, soaring gracefully. Alan Watts would tell you that you're just like that kite. The harder you cling to control, the more you struggle. Yet when you let go, you find harmony with life's flow. Watts had a way of shaking our perceptions, often flipping them on their heads. He'd grin and remind you, you're not just a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. This playful yet profound insight asks us to rethink the boundaries we impose on ourselves. Are we really separate from the world, or is it all interconnected, just as the ocean and its waves are one? He also challenged our attachment to things, our possessions, status, and even our identities. Watts would laugh heartily and explain that clinging to these illusions is like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. True freedom, he believed, comes from releasing these attachments and embracing life's impermanence. As Lao Tzu wisely said, by letting it go, it all gets done. This shift in perspective isn't about giving up on life but about immersing yourself fully in its rhythm. Watts believed that life wasn't meant to be a problem to solve but a game to play. By treating it with curiosity and lightness, you can rediscover joy in the simple act of being. He'd say, the meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple. And yet, everybody rushes around in a great panic as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. Embracing this playful wisdom transforms how you see everything. It encourages you to let go of the futile quest for control and instead dance with the universe, just as a kite dances with the wind. The less you fight against life's natural flow, the more you thrive within it. To my wonderful listeners in this vibrant community of seekers, thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. Your likes, shares, and subscriptions are a testament to the shared love for wisdom and growth. To those new to this treasure trove of insights, welcome. If this story inspired you, consider subscribing and sharing it with others. Remember, as Watts reminds us, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Until next time, let go, live fully, and soar high like a kite on the wind. About the author. Alan Watts, 1915–1973, was a visionary British-American philosopher, writer, and speaker celebrated for bridging Eastern philosophy and Western audiences. Among his most influential works are The Way of Zen, 1957, Nature, Man and Woman, 1958, and the book, On the Taboo Against Knowing Who You Are, 1966. Through these writings, Watts introduced profound Eastern concepts with clarity and accessibility, inspiring countless readers to rethink their understanding of life and spirituality. Throughout his career, Watts held esteemed academic positions, including a fellowship at Harvard University and a professorship at the American Academy of Asian Studies in San Francisco. Recognizing his remarkable contributions to comparative religion, the University of Vermont awarded him an honorary doctorate in 1968. His legacy endures as a timeless guide for those seeking wisdom and insight into the nature of existence. Chapter 1. You are the universe, the illusion of separateness. Picture yourself standing on a serene beach, toes sinking into the warm sand. Where do you end, and the beach begins? The line isn't as clear as it might seem. This blurred boundary between you and the world fascinated Alan Watts, who often explored the illusion of separateness in his philosophy. For much of your life, you've probably thought of yourself as a distinct, separate being, a lone island in a vast ocean. Parents, teachers, and society reinforce this sense of individuality. But, as Watts would remind us, islands are merely the peaks of underwater mountains, all part of the same earth. Beneath the surface, there's no true separation, only connection. Now, take a deep breath. The air filling your lungs has been part of countless lives before you. The carbon in your body was forged in ancient stars. You're not merely connected to the universe, you are the universe, star stuff dancing in human form. In every moment, the cosmos expresses itself as you, living, breathing, and experiencing. Imagine this, you're not a static thing, but a process, a verb. Just as the ocean waves, you are selfing, and the universe is universing. It's not a separate dance where you are the dancer, you are the dance itself. Everything flows together, inseparable in this great cosmic rhythm. At first, this perspective might feel unsettling, like losing a solid sense of self. We're accustomed to seeing only the surface, the waves, rather than the vast, interconnected ocean beneath. But Watts argued that clinging to the illusion of separateness blinds us to the profound unity that underpins existence. Your thoughts, for instance, arise not in isolation but from a web of memories, experiences, and influences stretching beyond what you call you. Recognizing this interconnectedness doesn't diminish your individuality, it enriches it. Just as each wave is unique yet inseparable from the ocean, you are a one-of-a-kind expression of the infinite universe. So, the next time you feel small or alone, remember Watts's wisdom: you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. What a beautiful truth to carry with you, as boundless as the sea itself. Chapter 2: The Art of Presence, Embracing Life Like a Cat in a Sunbeam. Picture this: a cat lounging in a warm sunbeam, utterly content, with no agenda but to bask in the moment. Alan Watts would have admired that feline mastery of living in the here and now, something we humans often overcomplicate. That cat isn't worried about yesterday's spilled milk or tomorrow's hunt, it's simply present, embodying a lesson we could all stand to learn. Reflect on your own day for a moment. How much of it do you spend revisiting the past or planning for the future? It's like trying to savor a meal while simultaneously flipping through a recipe book and drafting tomorrow's grocery list. Meanwhile, the only moment that truly exists, the present, slips through your fingers unnoticed. Watts loved the ancient Chinese idea of Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action or non-doing. But don't let the phrase fool you, it's not about laziness or passivity. Imagine surfing a wave, you're not battling it or trying to control its force. Instead, you're flowing with it, harmonizing with its energy. That's Wu Wei. It's about letting go of resistance and responding naturally to the rhythm of life. Visualize yourself as a leaf floating down a gentle stream. You're not paddling furiously or clinging to rocks along the way. You're simply moving with the current, carried effortlessly. That's the essence of Wu Wei, action without struggle, like a bird gliding on a thermal or a flower blooming with quiet grace. But what about life's demands? Deadlines, responsibilities, and chores don't just vanish. True, yet consider this: have you ever lost track of time while engrossed in something you love? That's presence. In those moments, you're not fragmented by regrets about the past or worries about the future. You're fully engaged, and paradoxically, that's when you're most effective and alive. It's like chasing a butterfly. The more you rush after it, the more it flutters away. But if you sit quietly and focus on the moment, it might just alight on your shoulder. Watts would chuckle at our obsession with productivity, likening it to endlessly preparing for life instead of truly living it. So, why not invite a little Wu Wei into your day? The next time you're stuck in traffic, notice the sunlight dappling the cars. When washing dishes, feel the warmth of the water and the rhythm of your movements. When walking, pay attention to the sensation of the ground beneath your feet. Life isn't a series of tasks to complete, it's a series of moments to experience. And the only one you have is this one, right here, right now. Chapter 3: The Wisdom of Wobbling, Embracing Life's Beautiful Uncertainty. Imagine trying to nail jelly to a wall. Frustrating, right? That's how Alan Watts described our endless quest for absolute security in life. He believed that in our obsession to fix and control everything, we miss the beauty of life's inherent wobble, the unpredictable, ever-changing rhythm that makes life an adventure. Take a moment to reflect on the idea of a finish line. How often do you catch yourself thinking, when I land that dream job? When I buy that house? When I meet the perfect partner, then I'll be happy. It's like chasing a mirage in the desert. Just when you think you're close, it moves farther away. But Watts invites us to see this not as discouraging, but as liberating. What if happiness isn't a destination, but the ride itself? Picture yourself at a lively carnival. Life is the merry-go-round, and you're caught between trying to grab the brass ring and soaking in the laughter, the music, and the spinning lights. Watts would suggest the latter. Life isn't about perfecting the ride, it's about savoring it, imperfections and all. Think of how a tree grows. It doesn't fret over its leaves or plan its branches. It simply adapts to the seasons, bending with the wind and flourishing in the sun. Life, like a river, flows continuously. And the moment you try to clutch the water in your hands, it slips away. Instead of battling the current, Watts would encourage you to flow with it, to let go of the need to control every moment. This doesn't mean abandoning all plans or diving recklessly into chaos. Instead, it's about loosening your grip on how things should be. It's about dancing with life's uncertainties rather than wrestling them into submission. After all, aren't your most treasured memories often the ones born from unexpected twists and turns? Watts likened life to surfing. You can't dictate the waves, but you can learn to ride them with joy and skill. Sure, you might fall sometimes, but isn't that part of the thrill? So the next time you find yourself anxious for control or certainty, pause. Take a breath. Remember the wisdom of insecurity. Life isn't a riddle to be solved, it's a mystery to be lived. And every wobble, every wave, is an invitation to embrace the magic of now. Chapter 4. The Art of Letting Go, a Dance with Life. Imagine trying to catch a delicate soap bubble. The tighter you grasp, the faster it bursts. Alan Watts would have chuckled and said, "The magic isn't in catching it, it's in watching it float." His philosophy was a gentle reminder that life unfolds beautifully when we stop clinging so tightly. Letting go doesn't mean renouncing your possessions or retreating from the world to live in a cave. Instead, it's about loosening your grip on rigid expectations, about yourself, others, and even the universe. It's like dropping the heavy baggage of should and stepping into the freedom of what is. Have you ever found yourself chasing after a profound spiritual experience, convinced that meaning lies just beyond the horizon? Watts would liken it to searching for your glasses while they're perched on your nose. He'd remind you that the divine isn't in some faraway realm, it's right here. It's in the laughter of a child, the aroma of fresh coffee, the gentle rustle of leaves. Letting go means realizing you don't have to strive for enlightenment because, paradoxically, you already are. You're not separate from the universe, you are the universe. Just as the wave is not apart from the ocean, you're an expression of life itself. Watts often mused that enlightenment isn't about becoming someone new, it's about recognizing you've been it all along. This idea may sound bewildering at first, especially when we see ourselves as static beings with fixed identities. But what if, as Watts suggested, you're less like a noun and more like a verb? You're not a self set in stone but a fluid process, constantly evolving. You're youing, much like a river is rivering or the sky is skying. In Zen, this concept of no self doesn't mean you vanish, it means you transcend the limited idea of who you thought you were. It's like a wave realizing it's not just a wave but part of the boundless ocean. Letting go isn't something you force, it's something you stop forcing. It's surrendering the need to control, the need to be elsewhere, and the need to be someone else. Next time you find yourself striving for perfection or chasing an elusive ideal, pause. Take a deep breath. Feel the air fill your lungs and notice the world around you. This moment, this breath, is life expressing itself through you. As Watts often said, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. So let go, and join the dance of now. Chapter 5. The Dance of Being, Becoming Who You Already Are. Imagine yourself as a leaf gently floating down a shimmering stream. You're not paddling, resisting, or striving. You're simply letting the current guide you, effortlessly moving forward. This is the essence of Wu Wei, the art of effortless action, and it captures the heart of Alan Watts' wisdom, becoming who you already are without force or struggle. Think about how often we chase after an improved version of ourselves, constantly reaching for a future that feels just out of grasp. Here's the twist, that future you isn't some far-off, unattainable ideal. It's already present, here and now, waiting to be recognized. This idea isn't about ceasing to exist or giving up, it's about letting go of rigid definitions of self. As Watts explained, you're not a static thing but a flowing process, more verb than noun. Becoming who you are is less about creating something new and more about revealing what's always been there. It's like peeling away layers of an onion to uncover its core or watching clouds drift away to reveal the sky that's been there all along. Imagine a dog endlessly chasing its own tail. Round and round it goes, unaware that what it's seeking has always been a part of it. Watts wanted us to have that same aha moment about ourselves and the universe. You're not separate from what you're striving to find, you are it. The tail isn't something the dog needs to catch, it's already within reach. But here's the catch, this realization isn't something you can force. It's not a prize to be won through effort or struggle. Instead, it's about allowing and accepting, relaxing into what's already true. Like a butterfly, this understanding doesn't come when chased, it lands when you're still, quiet, and open. This is Wu Wei in action, the gentle art of non-doing and simply being. So, how do you become what you already are? The answer is delightfully simple, you don't. That's the cosmic joke. You're already everything you're trying to be. Your only task is to notice it. Next time you catch yourself striving to be someone better or different, pause. Breathe deeply. Feel the pulse of life within you, the sounds around you, the richness of this very moment. This is life, alive and vibrant, expressing itself through you. As Watts would say with a knowing smile, you're not here to become something else, you're here to enjoy the grand performance of existence. So lean in, let go, and savor the dance. After all, you've been perfectly prepared for this role your whole life. Becoming what you already are, a journey of effortless being. Picture yourself as a wave in the vast ocean, rising and falling in harmony with the currents. The wave doesn't struggle to exist or question its place, it simply is. This is the core message of Become What You Are by Alan Watts. We are not separate from the universe but intimately connected to it, as waves are to the ocean. Life becomes meaningful not when we strive to become something we're not, but when we embrace who and what we already are. True living begins in the present moment. Alan Watts invites us to practice Wu Wei, the art of effortless action, living with the flow rather than fighting against it. It's not about passivity or giving up, but about aligning with the natural rhythm of life. Imagine the ease of a leaf floating down a stream. It doesn't paddle or resist but moves gracefully with the current. When we live this way, we tap into the profound beauty of life as it unfolds. A key insight from this journey is that embracing uncertainty can lead to a richer experience of life. The need for control and security often limits us, while surrendering to the unknown can open doors to unexpected joy. As Watts said, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Life isn't a problem to be solved but a mystery to be lived. Letting go of rigid ideas about ourselves is liberating. We often think we need to become something to find fulfillment, but Watts reminds us that what we're seeking is already within us. It's not about adding more layers to our identity but peeling them away to reveal the truth that's been there all along. This shift in perspective requires no effort, only awareness. You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself, Watts reminds us. Recognizing this allows us to see life not as a series of tasks to complete but as a vast, interconnected dance. Every moment, no matter how ordinary, becomes sacred. As we close this journey through Alan Watts' wisdom, let's remember the ultimate paradox: we don't need to become anything because we already are what we're searching for. Your task is simply to notice it, to embrace the beauty of the present moment, and to trust in the natural flow of life. Thank you for tuning into this audiobook exploration. Did you find value in this message? If so, we'd love your support. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It's a simple yet powerful way to uplift the energy of this community and fuel our passion for serving you. Did you know that nearly 90% of our listeners haven't yet liked, shared, or subscribed? If you're one of them, let's change that today. Your engagement helps us continue bringing you inspiring content. As Watts might say, this is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you're doing in the here and now. See you in the next adventure.